Hey guys, so I've been playing Project Cars 2, and my old stand, let me go grab it, wasn't cutting it. This old frame, which held the steering wheel up here, the pedals down here, and the shifter here, just definitely was not cutting it. When I was driving, there was a lot of wobble, and it was driving me absolutely insane. So when I had hard corners and I was going from like left to right on the steering wheel, it was a terrible experience on this cheap frame. I did not like it, so I upgraded a little. And this here is the Next Level GT, picture out of the way, Next Level GT track. And if you don't know what that is, if you go check out Next Level's website, you can see exactly what it is. But it's the GT track, and we're going to be assembling this today. If you stop looking at my midsection, it might help. Anyway, so this thing is basically the Cadillac of the racing simulator cockpits. They're really nice. I did a lot of research. The instructions apparently are not that great, so we're going to find out, and we're going to assemble this, and I'm going to assemble it, and hopefully this video will help other people as well, because it'll be saved on YouTube, posted on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, but maybe it'll help somebody in the future with putting together a Next Level GT track. So I'm sharing my experience of putting this thing together. That's Mr. Max. He's making his debut. Really? So I guess he's one of my helpers here. Generally, he just likes to lay in the way. So I'll go ahead and get started. I already cut the tape, but just on the box itself right here, it does say do not use a knife. That's because through the box, cut through the tape, you'll actually be cutting into your seat. Not sure if my microphone's able to pick me up well enough or not, so let me actually adjust my filters. I'm going to lower the sound of the music in the background. Where's my... There, now you will be able to hear everything because the microphone no longer has any filters. So hopefully that helps. I can also extend the microphone a little bit here if we need to. There we are. So let's give that a shot. I'm going to raise this up a little bit so when I'm back here you can see what I'm doing. But this is the outside box, and again, don't cut with a knife, because when you cut through, you'll be cutting through the interior box and then right into your brand new seat, which you don't want to do. It is very heavy, so if you don't have somebody very strong to pick up or help move the box in, I would recommend maybe paying the service to deliver it inside, or when they deliver it, make sure you're there, see if maybe they'll roll it inside, because it is heavy. I'm just going to break the box open, I think, unless I send it back or something. You know, I'm going to try to save the box. So, nope, I got it. I just need to flip this box upside down. And then pull it off. Holy crap. It's a big box. Big box. Okay, so now that I've got the box, the exterior box off, we can see what the interior box looks like. Oh God, this thing is heavy. I don't mean to say that, but wow. See if I lower the camera a little bit, you can see it. The packaging looks nice. It's a pretty sturdy box for the most part, but there's a lot of weight to it. So, and it's been around shipping, so it's a little beat up. Here it is, the GT Track by Next Level Racing. I'm just gonna go ahead and start opening it. Mr. Max doesn't appreciate the cardboard. Hey, 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 hey! He just stole the cardboard. Decided to ditch it last second. Maybe this isn't a good idea. Alright, so on the top, if you're opening it upright, you have the seat laying down, which is why they say don't open it with a knife, because you'll cut right into your seat if you go too deep. And that's what they don't want you to do, obviously. So I'm just going to pull the seat out. Comes with nice bubble wrap. I'm sure Mr. Max is waiting to play with this. But here it is. Wow, lots of bubble wrap. But this is your Next Level racing seat. Pardon me, Max. I'm gonna set it down right here, maybe. I don't know if you can see all of it. Maybe, yeah. It's got a lot of adjustment to it, which is nice. So it basically feels like a racing seat. It's got a nice cup to it. So when you sit into it, you're gonna feel like you're in a race car. Same thing with the top and the sides here on the back. Lots of adjustments. So you can actually adjust the seat itself to fold back just like a car and to pull forward just like a car. So there's lots of adjustments here. I'm going to set this aside because this is probably one of the last things that we're going to be installing. So got it set aside back here, out of the way. All right, and then there's these two just cardboard pieces, it looks like, for packaging to make sure the seat's secure. I'm going to check those over here. Max is probably going to try to take them. All right, and then the last big box inside the box. It's going to be a bigger challenge than I thought. Oh dear. Oh, holy crap. And this is the frame. It's another big box. Thought I was going to die right there. But I'm going to move that big box out of the way there so that we have some room to build with. And these are my fancy scissors for cutting nice plastic like this. But here we go. I'm going to go ahead and cut this open. And I'm using a dull tip scissor to do that, so it's not cutting into anything that we don't want it to. Alright, and it looks pretty busy inside this box. So this is probably going to take a lot of time to figure out. I'm going to move this kind of aside here where you can see it. And right on the top you have your GT track instructions manual, which overall, right in the front, you've got an assembly video QR code a few pages in. Actually not in the very front, it's actually towards the end of the instructions for English. But overall it looks like I'd say that this looks pretty detailed for the most part. But just note in the instructions you have a QR code that you could use your phone with to get a YouTube assembly video, which probably will make it easier. So that's your instructions. Next up on the top, you've got your Next Level Racing lockable caster wheels. So this is a box full of your wheels, because this kit is going to be on some wheels that you could roll it around, so it makes it easier moving it around if you need to move it, which is nice. And then after that, on the top you have a Next Level Racing sticker, it looks like, decal, which is kind of cool. I'm going to set that aside here too as well. And then this thing's so badass that they give you an actual wrench. So it's the first time I've ever seen an assembly come with a wrench. But these are all your bolts, your Allen wrenches, your wrenches for assembly, washers. Looks like they bounced out of a little pocket, but that's okay. We know what they are and where they go. And then Velcro and all your nuts and all that. So that's your kit. It's in plastic with a cardboard backing. So everything stays put and organized for the instructions. Alright. And outside of that, we got another decal sticker. I'll set that with the other one. And then this white box, which I am not sure what this is. I'm going to pop it open just to see what it is. So this white box actually has the seat belts that come with the seat. They are not actual seat belts, but they're just for looks and feel, so you can buckle yourself in and get the full experience. Cool. So I'm going to keep that in the box because it also has two nuts or two bolts and two washers here. So I want to keep that together and organize as much as possible because this is a pretty large assembly kit. Alright, and then we have some frames, pretty much all frames after that. There is another Next Level Racing sticker here, which I'm going to set with the other ones. Looks like that bounced around a little bit. So we have a couple different frames. Another frame piece. Looks like these are bottom pieces for the wheels and whatnot. So I'm going to set these aside right here. And that's definitely some sort of frame piece probably for the pedals. But I mean, all these parts are really heavy. They're heavy. They got weight to them. And then one piece of cardboard between everything else. And now we got what it looks like the option to put it on feet instead of wheels. I'm going to be putting it on wheels. And then a bunch of more frame pieces. A whole bunch more. Wow. Lots of pieces here. I don't even know where to begin. Hopefully the instructions are not as bad as everybody says they are. And then here's another frame with more bolts in the bag for it. Frame piece. More frame pieces. And more frame pieces. And another piece of cardboard in the box. To, guess what? More frame pieces. This is actually the last piece. This looks like it's for the seat. And that is everything that's in that box. Okay, so we've got our pieces literally scattered everywhere here in a semi possibly maybe organized fashion. I'm going to pop these instructions open and see if I can figure this out. So bear with me. You're probably hearing the humming because normally I have a sound gate and a noise suppression filter on this microphone because it is a very sensitive microphone that picks up literally everything, which is nice when you're trying to do something like this, but the downside is it picks up the humming in the background from my computer and anything else in the house. So step one. Oh boy, they don't really give you extremely clear instructions here, but I'm pretty sure I can make sense of this. We've got those two like A-frame style pieces, it looks like. I'm going to move this aside because it doesn't look like this is part of the instructions right now. But we're going to be using, it looks like the first step are these A-frame pieces here that look like an angle. So we're going to be starting with that. I'll just chuck it up there. There's two of these. They were literally at the top of the box. And again, we're trying to build this so that anybody else in the future trying to build this or looking to build this and they're just curious about how much work it's actually going to take to assemble this thing. That's what this video is for, really. Just to share the experience. Because I looked at the instructions online, watched a couple videos, and it looked absolutely insane. So I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. And hopefully this helps other people understand what they're getting into as well. Because there's a lot of work to it. But we also assemble these. We build full kits, full simulators. So I just wanted to kind of share the experiences if you're brand new to it and have never done it before. Here we go. So we got the two frame pieces. Looks like, again, looks like that last piece, where'd that go? So this is going here, here, like this. Now we just need to find the pieces that go in between, which I think is this one here. The instructions really don't label what parts are going here. They do label the bolts that you're going to be using for the assembly that you're working on, so they label that. But the actual components that you're using in each of the sections, they're not labeled. So, like normally when you're building a shelf or something like that, you'll have A, B, C, etc. And then you'll be able to determine that on the instructions, or they'll translate what is what on the instructions there. Well, unfortunately, these do not do that. So you do not get that experience here. Alright, so we got, I believe this is the front piece that's going to be connecting to this side here. No, it's not. It's missing two things here. I'm just going to pull all these out so I can see them and make sense of what's what at this point. These will be the next pieces that we'll need, I know that. Yeah, those should be one of these. But which one? I'm assuming it's like this one. Like that.
Food.
I'm not doing food right now.
I have not ate anything today.
Well, why are you asking me about food? I'm in the middle of the stream. You can, there's plenty of food in the fridge and the pantry. So go look. Let's see here. I thought there was another piece to this. You know what? This is the thing. I thought this was deep back, but I am totally wrong. This is the piece that we're going to use now. But which one's the front? I would assume the one that says Next Level Racing will be the front. Oh. So here we go. This square frame is what we're going to be using, along with those A-pillar style things. But on the front of this, you'll have a decal saying Next Level Racing here, which is right here on the front. That's going to be, I'm going to be facing it this way so I could kind of make sense of the instructions based off the picture that they're showing. But these just drop right in like that, and then it looks like we have some bolts that we'll be putting in, 4 of them. So far, the assembly is pretty easy, other than just having to make sense of that first piece. Which I would point out, again, none of these parts are labeled, and it looked like, based on the instructions, that we may have had to assemble this first piece, but it's actually this whole frame. I assume that was actually going to be for part of the seat, but I was wrong. So there we are. Now we're here. It says we need 8 of these M8 60mm screws or bolts, and I'm going to start opening this kit. So this is the last time I'm going to lift it up, but this is what we'll have to open up here. I'm going to try to just cut this out so I can keep the rest of everything else kind of organized in the tray. That's why I grabbed these nice scissors that cut through plastic very easily. So I can do something like this. So we're going to need 8 of these, they said. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I got 8 of these, and I'm going to set it aside. And again, I kept it nice just by cutting it out. So they're all labeled still in the package. And I can just set them aside, and I know where they are, I know what they are. And that way I can continue to follow the instructions and not make a huge mess of everything. So they go right through. Do we need any washers here? They don't really say. They don't really say what nuts I need, although there are only one set of nuts there that show going to be a little tricky, actually. Alright, so I don't think we use any washers here. Doesn't look like it. It's not going to feed through it. It's tight. It is close though, so I don't see any. Oh, M6. This is M8. M8. Oh, here they are. There are washers. There's washers here. So we're actually going to use those washers. Though the instructions, should I say, do not say to use the washers. They don't. The only thing they mention here is the screws on the first step, or the bolts. I'm going to make a slot for these washers so I can grab them without making a big mess. Which I did. Still made a big mess. Alright, so I got the washers, and I'm actually going to do one of these at a time, so I'm going to have to maneuver it. There we are. I felt like these should have washers. Something was telling me. And the nuts are right here. So let me grab these. Got a couple of them out already. I'm trying to keep this as organized as possible because there are just so many parts here. It's crazy. So the bolt is an Allen wrench, and the nut is obviously the wrench. And oh, you got to go from the back side, inside here. All right. Just trying to get these started here, so that we can get the, I'm going to use the included tools here as well. So I'm going to get the Allen wrench and the wrench out of this package now. Hopefully without making a huge mess. There we are. We got the Allen wrenches out. Now I'm going to do the bolt, or the wrenches. This one I'm going to just having trouble with here. Of course it backs out. And it's kind of a mess there. Oh well, we'll figure it out. Alright, so we got the wrench and the Allen wrenches out of the package. Not sure if you can see those or not. They're pretty far away. So I'm going to take the wrench, put it on the nut on the inside, and secure that. And then I'm going to use the Allen wrench on this side that I have easy access to spin it. And that will tighten the bolts here. Nicely. I'm going to do a pretty good tight because this nut is actually one of those lock nuts. So I'm not too worried about these coming loose. And they also have washers. So same thing with the other bolt and nut. The only thing differently I probably should have done is started the other side as well, in case we had to move it, which we might have to. Nope. These should be alright. Yep, they'll go in. So I got my washer through my nut, or through my bolt, through the hole. Same thing with the other one. Washer through the bolt, through the hole. And then 2 nuts. Drop the nut, pick it back up, try again. And one more. Then we're going to use, once again, the wrench to hold the nut and tighten the bolt with the Allen wrench. Nice and tight, snug anyway, not overly tight where it's going to bend metal. There we are. We have our first piece attached. Only took us an extra minute to figure out what the hell was going on here, but now we're flowing pretty well. Again, bolt, washer, through the hole. Bolt, washer, through the hole. And then actually going to need more nuts out of here. So I'm going to cut enough plastic to grab 4 more. And put the nuts on the other side. Get them started at least. So then I can lift them up and just tighten them down with the wrench and the Allen wrench. All these parts are powder coated. They are very nice. The metal is not super sharp, so it doesn't feel like I'm going to cut myself when I'm handling it, which is nice. So that really helps me with cutting my hands, although my hands are already pretty rough from building quite a few different things. So I've got a lot of tough hand skin, whatever you want to call it. Alright, nice and tight. I make it look like it's really tough. It's just because you are using this really small Allen wrench. Maybe if they made it a little bit longer, it would help. But they do give you a full-size wrench, which is kind of cool. But it's not Goodyear or any fancy name. Alright, there we are. We got our 2 pillars added, or A-frame pieces. I believe this is going to be the very front facing your screen, and then our pedals are probably going to be in this area down here, and this is going to come up and give us our area for our steering wheel as well. So the next piece, let's look at the instructions. So that was step 1. That was only in step 1, and again, they only mention the bolts with a picture of the 2 pieces laying inside here and where the bolts go with arrows. They don't mention the washers, they don't mention the nuts. I mean, common sense would say, yes, you need a washer here, like I did, as well as where are the nuts, because what is it screwed out to? You just put the bolts in and it secures? No. But the instructions for somebody that maybe has never built anything in their life would not be able to follow this very well. Not gonna lie, the instructions kind of suck. They don't really tell you where the nuts are, the washers, what pieces are what, labeled A, B, whatever. So far, step 1 kind of sucked in description on their instruction manual. So if there's anything that they can improve on, I'd say more detailed instructions. And also, if they're trying to push people to watch the video for assembly, put that in the very front of the manual, not in the very back. I don't know why you would put that in the back. It just seems kind of silly. Or maybe if somebody purchased it online, you send them an email saying, here's your instruction manual. It's actually a video with a link to it or something. I don't know. When you spend close to $1,000 on, well, 800 or so on a product, I would expect the instructions to be a little bit more clear, but they're not. So anyway, moving on to step 2, it looks like we're just going to need those 2 brackets like I knew about already. This one here and this one here. These guys. But it's going to be up to us, again, to decide and figure out which direction they actually go connecting to the frame. So that's these things here. I'll put it in the white background so you can see it. That is these things, which are going to be the next. You do on the bottom have a little bit of a foot. You see the foot on the bottom on the top there? Right up here. You have a foot, it looks like. Or, I don't know. But let's see what they say. That's actually going to be up. That's going to be facing up. It's not a foot, because the foots are going to be wheels. And that little foot that I pointed out, we'll call it, is going up against the frame. So it's going to slide in like that to the frame, which is tight because we've already tightened the other 2 screws on that piece. So they should have mentioned again in the instructions on these 2 bolts down here that we already tightened. Don't tighten them all the way, because that's going to make it harder to put these pieces in. I just pushed them in. Hopefully I didn't scratch anything. But another lack of instructions. Okay, and then it looks like we have 2 bolts for each side again. 15 millimeter, which are oh, so that little foot thing actually pops out, and there's going to be a bolt in there that you have to screw in, is what it looks like on the instructions, though they're not very detailed. Yes, that is definitely the case. So we're going to pop these little feet things out, whatever you want to call them. Lids now, they're not feet, they're now lids. Little plastic things, pop them out. And they want us to use a M8 15 millimeter, which is right dead smack in the center of the frickin' packaging. So we're going to have to cut our way to it and try grab 2 of those. There we are. They don't say to use any washers, but I'm definitely going to go ahead and say we're going to need washers. So I'm going to grab 2 of those washers. And it looks like the piece that we're bolting into is pre-threaded. So it doesn't look like we're going to need any nut for this, because we wouldn't be able to get on that side of the part anyway. And I just dropped the washer in there. There we are. Nice. We're off to a great start. Now, we're not going to tighten these down either until we get the other bolts in there. on the side because I don't know if they're lined up or not. So I'm only going to get this started. So that we can place the other bolts on there as well. But I'm going to get it started on both sides, so at least the part's secure. Okay, and then it looks like, again, 4 more of these, 2 on each side, M8 60mm. So that's the first bolts that we started working with, kind of the semi-long ones. We'll need 4 of these. These are at least labeled nicely, so you can determine what bolts you need. But again, they don't define that they need washers, and I would assume that we're going to need washers. Max is barking at our Amazon guy delivering packages. So I got 4 washers, and then it looks like we're also going to need more nuts. So I'm going to, once again, continue cutting up the strip to grab 4 more nuts that are compatible with the M8 size screw or bolt. Alright, so I'm going to put the washer on and the bolt in. Wasn't lined up, so I'm glad I didn't tighten that piece, or that other one. Had to push it down a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to put my nuts on. There's some chuckling in the background. Chuckling in the background about the nuts. Again, I'm using my Allen wrench and my wrench to tighten these parts. If I were ever to do this again, I would do it on a table. That way I'm not sitting on my legs. I definitely don't like this position. But I'm trying to give you the entire experience based off of what you will have when you get it at home, because I doubt you'll have a workbench. I got a makeshift bench that I can set up here. So I would recommend, if I were to ever do it again, which I am, but if you're doing it at home and you have a bench or a workspace that you can work with, I would use that table. Alright, so I tighten the piece in here, and I'm going to put the lid back on, and I tighten the 2 side bolts. So now I'm going to flip this over like this so I can gain access here without having to get up, because I'm lazy. Not really. Put my washer, check my washer with my bolt, put it through the hole. Same thing with the other one. And I'm going to start these nuts. Because I'm right-handed, I'm going to use the wrench to tighten this rather than using the Allen wrench. My right hand is definitely my more dominant hand. Alright, so that will complete step number 2. And we have something that looks like this if I lift it up. Not too bad. Feels very sturdy. Oh, very heavy though. That is step number 2. Moving on to, holy crap, step number 3. Step number 3 is going to involve the chair and mounting the chair. Though, I don't see the piece that there. Oh, yeah, I do. Oh boy. Is this chair already mounted to this? Because it shows in the, so in the instructions it actually shows that this chair is not mounted to this piece that we need access to. Though it's already mounted. So I don't know what the deal is here. Looks like we're going to have 4 bolts, although in the instructions it shows 6. So I believe they've updated their seat. Or wait, now what is that? Oh. Never mind. Scratch that. This is for the motion platform. So I didn't buy the motion platform, which is going to like vibrate the seat when you go across grass or a bump or something, or bump the seat or whatever you want to call it. We didn't buy that, though it shows here that it's included in the instructions. So I wonder if I call them and ask them, hey, my instructions say I'm supposed to have a motion kit, and I don't have that. Wonder what they would say, because that's what they show here in the instructions, which is kind of confusing for if you were somebody that just purchased the frame kit with the seat, because you don't really care too much about the motion, you just want the racing experience with the seat and the stability. Then that's kind of confusing, because it's telling you right here to put the motion, well, I guess, you know, if you bought it, but they should define that. It's not defined here. Oh, right here in this, never mind, it is. Just skip step M1 and M2 if you don't have motion. I don't know what they mean by don't have motion. Just they need to reward this, or have somebody that is literate to go through here and help make the instructions make sense. So we're going to skip those 2 steps, and we're going to move on to step number 3, which looks like part of mounting the shifter, it looks like, and also the seat, which again it shows that the seat is not mounted to its platform, but it already is. At least ours came mounted. It shows that it's not, so that shows us that it's something that we're going to have to do, and it's not clearly defined. So we're going to move to step number 3, which is not M3. Yeah. That's just funny, though. They do need to work on these instructions a little bit to make more sense. I'm not saying, like, make it so that a kid could follow it, but there's a lot of extra thinking and lifting parts up and trying to make sense of stuff that you shouldn't have to do on a $800 product or $850 product. Anyway, I'm going to take actually a quick break here because I think we're at a good stopping point getting these 2 pieces built. Not a stopping point, but a break point. I'm going to come back and we'll be starting the handbrake plate and the shifter plate mounting, which it looks like it's only going to take just a few screws. It's not too bad, actually, it looks like. Let me just get the parts together so it's easy. Looks like it's this plate. Again, they're not labeled, so I don't know, but it's this small plate. Based off the picture, this looks right. It's got 4 screws or bolts already on it. which is what we'll need to undo, because we'll need this part, and then it looks like we'll need this piece. I don't know what to call this piece. It's another plate. It looks like that. And that's for that plate to mount on top of. And then it looks like we'll need this like elbow shaped part. It's got a little elbow to it. That's going to fit onto this like so. I would assume something like that. Yeah. It's gonna go like that, I guess. Well, hello there. All right, good stopping point, or break point. I'm taking a break, stretch my legs. And we're back. Let's finish this setup. Watch Max sniff stuff over there. Let's get this setup done. So we're working on the shifter right now. Alrighty. So it looks like we're going to need 3 M8 bolts. Again, it doesn't define washers, but oh, it does. It says spiked washers. This time we need spiked washers, which are all over the place currently. Gotta get these out of the box here. So many moving pieces here. There we are. And we're going to need 3 of these M8 60 millimeters. Hey, give me some space. Hey, you. Space. Okay. Alright, we'll try. You're trying to like sit in my lap. Oh, goodness. We'll get a toy. Doesn't define what side the spiked washers are supposed to go to, which is unfortunate. Because you put pressure on it from here. I don't think that's going to be right. Okay. And just walk right over it. Cool. Let's try to figure this out. Looks like they go on this side, but I'm not entirely sure. I would assume so. Okay. Again, we're working with the handbrake / clutch or shifter mount. Not clutch, shifter mount. And that's going to take a few more of these nuts. 3 to be exact. The instructions are a little bit better on this page. Just getting these nuts started. I forgot to lower my music. Hold on. That actually might help. Lower the music. There we go. You can hear the girly girl in the background. An angry burrito. Just tighten these up. All right, those are good. And then we're going to install this. take the nuts off first. Thanks, Max. So it says it to do it one way, though it's not right. So maybe it's a different one that they're talking about, but yeah, in one image. Okay. Nope, this is right. And that kind of sucks, but we'll figure that out. Shifter and the handbrake mount. There we are. I'm not sure where we're going to put that yet, but it says to mount it with one hole. You can actually move it around quite a bit. So I'm actually going to get the chair in there, get the wheel up here, and mount that last so that I can decide the right position for it for my size or my arm length or whatever. That way I reduce the amount of time that I'm spending repositioning things and undoing bolts and readjusting. So I'm going to save that for last because it looks like I can get to it pretty easily here. Next piece is going to be, looks like the chair mount. We're going to mount the chair. Oh boy. Oh. Let's see how badly I do this. And there's a lot of adjustment here for this as well. But I think I want it back. My legs are actually a little longer. And I should be able to adjust the seat still. So I think this position is going to be good. Right here. So there are a couple of different options here that we can place this. So I would look at that and see what is best for you. Here we go. I like this one. What are you doing? Oh. You're not going to jump on me, are you? And you don't need any nuts for this. Looks like it's going to thread right into the mount of the seat. But it's going to be, again, 2 M8s, 60 millimeters on each side. And I would use washers as well. This is going to be a seat that you're sitting in, moving around in, and I feel like the washers are a good idea, though they don't define it. Threading it through the hole and finding the thread is a little tricky. So you're going to have to move it to find it and thread it. I wouldn't tighten these down until you have all 4 in place because of the requirement of moving it in order to find it. Goodness. That one I found it. Okay, there we go. It is tricky. I don't want to like cross thread it or something stupid. Now I'm not tightening it, I'm just going to get it started here because it's not perfectly square, so it's going to need a little bit more torque to get the screw going. But I'm not going to tighten it down all the way. There we are. Let's do the other side. Same scenario. 2 M860s. With washers. There you go, and the last one I'm just going to go ahead and tighten it. I like that a lot. Lots of movement on the seat, just like a real car. There we go. So just like a real car, you can slide it forward and it locks, or you can slide it all the way back and it locks. And just like a real car, you got the lever to change the back position. Feels just like a real car, except it's not automated. I might have to move the seat a little further back for me, but I would take the time to kind of position your feet and where they will be positioned for your pedals. So, oh hey bud. Oh, thanks. Max wants to get in my lap up here. He's trying so hard. Hey bud, what you doing? Alright, so there, we got the seat installed. What is the next step? It's actually telling us now to install the shifter, but again, I'm going to hold off on that at the moment. And I'm going to take advantage of finishing the rest of it so I can position it. So I've got these two, looks like the steering wheel platform is what we're going to be doing next. And it looks like these go in. They've got a bunch of bolt holes here, which are going to slide in. The bolt holes are going to face the seat. Like so. Same thing with the other side. Got a little L-shaped piece at the top. That's what it looks like. Yep. And that is right here. This piece. It's got this rivets here so you can adjust the flow of it. But it is going to go like that on here. But we're going to make it so that it's flat. Alright, so it looks like it uses a they want us to adjust the I'm gonna wait for again the height adjustment because I don't know where I'm gonna want it, so I'm gonna wait until I get this piece on here because it'll be fine. Then I'll adjust the height and I'll get my steering wheel on there, and then I'll put those bolts in last so that I know the height that I want to keep it or set it to. So I think that's best. So we're going to just move on to this piece, and then it also wants us to install the back piece behind the seat as well in this step, which is kind of a weird mix. Why would you do that? I feel like you should have done that first, but then again you had to put the seat in, so that actually makes sense. So right here we're going to be using M8 60 millimeters for these, and we'll need 8 of them, it says. Oh, that's because we're also putting the piece down here for the pedals on this step, since we skipped the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And my assumption is that we're going to be using washers as well here. Just like all the other times. So I've got a big stack of washers in here. These are nice and oiled, so So there's no rust. She's pretty upset about something. Sleepy. Oh. And we're gonna need nuts. I'm just gonna cut the whole thing now at this point. Got a pretty good feel to it. Ow! That one hurt. Just gonna get this nut started on this bolt. There we are. And then I'm gonna grab the other side real quick. Increase the airflow in the house real quick so that I stop getting so sweaty. I thought I was only supposed to get sweaty in Call of Duty, but apparently not. Not today. Okay. So we've got these two, and then there's actually two more bolts up here that we have to do. But now I got it squared up on this device, or this adjustment, which is nice. Makes it a little easier to work with here at this point while we adjust the tilt, which I'm going to keep flat, so that's just my style, or close to it anyway. This is pretty good. I like it. I like the looks of it. I'm gonna screw that in, or bolt that in, and then the nut on the other side. And again, that's another M80 or an M8 60 millimeter with a washer and a nut on the inside. Just wanted to see if your leg would touch it. Probably not using the seat properly, and I feel it. So, how many notches? I don't know. There's a little scratch here on the powder coat, but no big deal. There we are. Now we just have to tighten these four up here, and then we'll be able to adjust it once we decide our steering wheel height with our steering wheel mounted to it. Also, I could take this whole assembly off if I need to mount my steering wheel, but now would probably be an okay time to put the steering wheel on there if you wanted to. But I'm not going to do that until last because I'm just doing the frame. Just the frame in this video. I'm also going to leave the bolts for the tilt loose or hand tighten. That way I can come back and adjust the tilt if I want to without having to tighten it. Just make my life a little bit easier while I'm customizing it for me. There we go. Perfect. All right. So the tilt is hand, and the other bolts are tight, so it's definitely not going anywhere for sure. Looks like if you're lifting it up, pushing it back down, it's going to scratch the powder coat, but kind of expected that. Alright, the other piece that they wanted us to do is the back, and it looks like it is this guy, which has 2 holes on each side, probably for the wheels, on the bottom. That's going to be facing down. And that's going to be on the back behind the seat, and 2 screws going in the sides here on the frame. So I'll try to rotate this so that you can see it. But it's going to go right here. Again, those 4 screw holes that you saw on the long piece are going down, facing down. Boy, getting this in here is going to be a challenge. Because the seat's already in here tight. They didn't really define that. That it would be a challenge if you did that. So, you may have to loosen your seat to get this in. But I was able to sneak that in there. And it looked like they were pre-thread. And they're going to, again, be 60mm M8s that go in here, with probably washers. Yeah, these are pre-threaded, it looks like, to make it a little easier for you. Just trying to find the hole now at this point. That's going to be the challenge. Unfortunately, you're going to just have to feel it around until you find it. There we go. And I'm not going to tighten that top one until I get both these screws in. Oops. And then I'm going to use the Allen wrench to tighten the 2 bolts here. I'm not going to actually tighten them all the way again, because I still have the other side to do. And if you lift it, you can actually spin the Allen wrench pretty freely there. There we are, we're on the back side. Getting these last 2 bolts in. Once again, it's going to be a struggle to find the hole. But once you find it, you will feel it. And it threads in actually pretty nicely here. So, that's good. This last one is pretty easy to thread in as well, probably because everything's pretty much squared up now at this point. She okay?
What?
She okay?
Yeah. I just had to get Max on the chair.
Oh. Just lifting up and using my knee as a jack, or jack stand should I say, to hold the chair up so I can just spin the Allen wrench freely without slamming my knuckles into the ground. Alright, I'm going to come back around to this side and finish tightening these last 2 that I just put in. I just didn't tighten them all the way, so I was worried that I was going to maybe have to undo them or reposition it, but we're good. Alright, so those are done. And the last piece on step 5, because we just completed 4 and partial 5, last step is to add the pedal brace or adjuster. That's going to be a little flat piece like this, and the side is going to have some adjustment options here and one pivot screw so you can pivot it. Pivot the, or adjust the pivot for the pedals. Blech. Gotta speak better. Spin this thing back around. Wonder when they're gonna ask me to put the wheels on. Which I feel like should have been something that was done a while ago. But oh well. This is going to go, oh sweet. So these holes here, you can adjust the distance of the pedals. So I'm going to, because I didn't feel like the seat was far enough up for me in the first place, I'm going to put it right here. And then we'll be able to come back and adjust it if we need to. But I think, well, maybe a little bit. Yeah, maybe right here. Because I guess yeah. I liked it better here. Because it is going to come out pretty far with the pedals. So I feel like this is a good spot. Pretty close to the wheel. Or in, but not too close. And it's still going to go up the ramp here, which I think is also adjustable. To kind of give you that Formula Racing feeling. And these bolts are going to be, again, M8s, 60 millimeter. So you'll need 4 of them. And then you'll need the washers to go with them. And the nuts, which we already have out. I'm going to go 50% on this tilt to start out with, which we should have. We'll go, I can find the hole. We'll go 3. Ah, shit. I just realized I forgot to put my washer in. Hopefully it stays put. And it did. So, that's easy. These are guided holes, so you have one hole on one side of the beam and then another on the other side, and you have to match it up with the hole, the plate hole on the other side. So, a little tricky, but easy enough. And I'm not going to tighten these down quite yet, because I want to make sure that I can get these other 2 bolts in first. And then I'll start tightening them down. Oh. Like I said, 3 up. which I'll just double check here. I mean, it's pretty level based off of where I had it positioned on the other side. But that is right. Alright, and I'll just tighten the pivot bolt, which is like the bolt that allows it to pivot. But I'm not going to over tighten it, I'm just going to give it a couple snug spins. That way I know it's not going to go anywhere when I test it out and slam the brake. And then same thing with this side. If I can just get my wrench in there. There we go. And next, they want us to actually mount the plate for the pedals. But I think I'm going to mount the plate after I get the pedals on there. But I'm going to put the pedals on. So if you do have your pedals already, I feel like this is the smart move. And that's getting the plate out and putting the pedals on there first before we mount that thing. Right? I think so. Looks right. I'm actually not sure what this is for. It doesn't really tell me what that's for, which is interesting. They also don't show me what direction these pedals. Oh, like this. I assume it's going to go. Yeah. Like that. Okay, so the lip points up. I've actually got my pedals right here. This is from the Logitech G920 series, I believe. But it looks like it's going to fit perfectly here. I just got to get them bolted on. There we go, we got it lined up nicely. So it's going to be nice and simple. I believe that's what these extra bolts here are for, these smaller bolts. For mounting your simulator kit. They also give you some washers for it as well, which I'm going to also use. These are pretty big gaps. So I'm going to put that there and grab these washers here. There's 6 bolts here on this. So these are the smaller bolts that actually don't have a size to them labeled on the cardboard, but it says screws 4-wheel pedal shifter, And they also have the washers, which are M6 washers, I believe. So it'd be an M6 screw. I don't know the exact length here, but that's what we will be using to mount our Logitech pedals, steering wheel, shifter. We also have a handbrake, which is not part of the Logitech kit. It's a USB handbrake, which I've not used before, so we're kind of just testing it out. See how it works. And then maybe we could do some drifting. Obviously you don't want to get too crazy tight on these because the threads are actually built into the pedal, and you definitely don't want to, one, mess up the threads, two, break it because it is plastic attached to a piece of metal. So I wouldn't go too tight. I would snug it. You got 6 bolts on there, so that'll work beautifully. Alright, so for the pedals, it's actually going to be very easy to adjust this. Another form of adjustment, if we needed to. But I think I'm going to go middle position here for myself. I feel like that's going to be the best spot. And what screws did they want me to use for that? These are going to be the 15 millimeter, and they're pre-threaded. So you're going to thread. You don't need a nut. You're just going to need the bolts and some washers. These are M8. So you're going to need some M8 washers, some mite washers. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. I just got all 4 of them started here. And I'm going to use the Allen wrench to get it tight here. There we go. Perfect. So now we got our pedals mounted. And I think I'm going to just go ahead and look at the next step before we move forward, which is going to be the wheels. So you do, like I said, or I mentioned earlier, you have the option of these feet, which there's no rubber padding on them or anything like that. They're just literally plastic feet that you would slide very easily on carpet, which is what we have right here. But I'm going to actually use the wheels, which comes in a box like this, and we're going to go ahead and pop that open and get these wheels on there. So I'm planning on taking this one to events to set up and use. So I think the wheels are going to be more useful than the actual feet. But if they become a problem, it doesn't look too difficult to switch it over. what the deal is here. You do get individual instructions here for your wheels, which just show a push-down lock and Next Level Racing lockable wheels, 2 spares plus 8 square washers. So it looks like we're going to be using the washers on the studs. And you get 2 extra wheels as spares, which is kind of cool. So a total of 10 I have here, and 2 are spare. I'm going to go ahead and pull these all out, take the 2, put them back in the box with the instructions. So it'll be my spare part box now. And you also get a little wrench for this. So to do these wheels, I'm probably just going to put this bad boy right on its side like that. It's not going to hurt it. It's very sturdy. It's actually very, very sturdy. This thing is a beast. Really good build quality already. And I haven't even sat down and tried to jiggle the crap out of it. Alright, where are these going? We got 2 in the front, 2 in the middle, 1 in the rear. Or 2 in the rear. Right on the sides here. So I'm going to place the washer, which is a square washer, and then I'm going to totally jack that up, because I forgot you need this little tool to hold the stud. Because these are pivoting. What a pain in the ass this is going to be. So you just have to use this little wrench, get in there, spin it. Until it's tight. Or at least until you're satisfied with the tightness. I'm going to square up this washer really quick. So yeah, I'd make sure the washer is square. I like it pretty. I'm going to make sure it's nice and tight. There we go. Feels good. Alright, next one. We got 8 of these to do. Only a few more. There we go. Next one. Next one. on to the next side, which is 4 more to go. Three more to go. We're also going to have to be a little bit more careful when we flip this back over, because now we have these plastic wheels hanging off the bottom, and I don't want all the weight on like a single wheel, for example, because that can probably bend it, damage it. So we're going to be a little bit more careful flipping it back over onto its legs or wheels. But I mean, for those of you getting into this project or looking into it, or maybe have an interest in it, this project does take some time. We built quite a few of these, so definitely hit us up if you don't want to go through this process, because we build them for you. We build complete racing simulator setups, if that's what you're interested in. And if you're local, we'll even white glove deliver it. Hey Zach, how's it going? Let's see. ETA. Currently got the wheels to put on, the feet. Got the wheel to install, the shifter, the handbrake, and then it's pretty much done. So ETA is, I don't know, another 40 minutes or so ish. Pretty long process, really. Why, are you guys playing Warzone or something? Or are you trying to disc golf? I love disc golfing. John and Alex kicked my ass last time. We played up, or over by Alex's house. They kicked my butt. Which there's a couple of good courses over there. I enjoyed them. Yeah, And this little wrench sucks, but I mean it is a very thin bolt that you're trying to grab the head of and spin it. And the slot is very small too. So this kind of sucks, this process. It's just going to take time. It's tedious. But once it's done, it'll be nice. There we go. The feet are probably a lot more simple to install, but we're not using those. So okay, I'm going to flip it back over again. I'm going to try to keep the weight off of it by lifting it a little bit here. Here we go. So that looks pretty good so far. Now let's get the wheel and the shifter mounted. I'm actually going to do the wheel last. Only because it all connects to the wheel here on the bottom. And I just want to get everything there in place now. So I think this is going to go because I'm definitely going to have to move the pedals forward. That's for sure. So let me actually do that real quick. So this is just something that you're going to have to adjust and play with until you find the right spot for you, that's right for you. And we'll probably have to adjust the tilt, I feel like, now that I'm looking at it, because of how much tilt is on the pedals itself. That'll be good. I don't know why I just pushed it with my hand. I just felt like doing that. Yeah. And then I can pull my feet in a little bit if I need to. That feels good. And it feels solid. Even while it's on wheels, it's solid. The wheel should be about here. It's about right. Probably gonna want the shifter a little closer to me though, I think. I'm probably gonna pick this up a little bit. here, ish. So, all right. So now I have a rough idea of where I'm positioning everything. Let's go ahead and get this shifter mounted. Hiding here behind my chair. Too much building, LOL. I'm sorry. This is a big project. Yeah, getting the Allen wrench down here is kind of a pain in the ass. Not gonna lie. Especially with like the awkward shape of the shifter. So I am slowly getting this shifter mounted.
Do you see how she's sleeping over here?
Yeah. She's a goofball. There we are. There's a shifter. Whatever. we got a handbrake as well. Let me move this a little bit further in so you can actually see what the hell I'm doing, or maybe see. But we got a fancy little handbrake here. I'm actually not sure how this one installs. This is a brand I've never used before. I assumed this was something that was lifted, but it looks like we pushed down. I don't get why the bolts are there, because the mount looks like it's over here. Like it gets mounted right here, or at least like so. Dear God, why? These bolts don't want to go through, so I have to use these. Of course. In order to get this bastard mounted, I'm gonna have to take it off the plate. I knew that plating was a bad idea earlier. some holes. Okay. Hell with it. This has been an absolute challenge trying to mount this handbrake. And it looks like we're just going to have to drill some holes to make it fit. And that's what I'll end up doing. Alright, so we finally got the shifter mount and handbrake mounted. So, finally, we got that done. Took a minute, but it is done. Got some nice Velcro ties here to do exactly what I'm going to do, which is just Velcro the wires to the frame so they're not getting stepped on, twisted up, tangled, pinched, whatever you want to call it. It's just organized. Nice and clean looking. Alright. I'm going to take a pretty quick break here, guys. Hey Bobby Johnson. This one is actually for me. I'm building this one obviously to play with, and also for a floor model and to take to events to show off the next level gear. So this one's for here. So if you want to come over and try it out, let me know. But we're getting closer here. We just have the steering wheel to mount. Yeah, if you want to come over and try it, just let me know. You can come try it. It's pretty fun. But we got a handbrake, we got the shifter, got the pedals, the wheel, the super amazing cockpit by Next Level. You used a very nice one before? Yeah. This is like the Cadillac of cockpits for custom gaming PCs. You can't really get any higher than this unless you buy the motion, like the motion pack for the seat and all that. And then there's actually a motion piece for the floor, which uses hydraulics to lift it when you go over a big bump and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. I actually haven't tested this handbrake out yet, so this is going to be the first time I've used this brand and this handbrake. A lot of good reviews, but it was on the cheaper side, so I'm just kind of like, try it out, see what happens. I was in a motion one. You didn't like it? Nah, neither did I. It's a lot of extra money for the motion stuff, and I don't know. If I want motion, I guess I'll just go jump into a real car. But, I mean, the reason why I wanted this is because my old frame was super wobbly, and I didn't really like it. It wasn't solid. So I was kind of searching for a solid frame to hold the wheel, the pedals, and everything, so it's not moving around on me while I'm driving. And really, this is the best you could get. I'm sure there's a couple other models they make that are a little cheaper. But I like nice things. I like things to last a while, so and I can take it to shows and set it up and have people try it out and test it out and see if Next Level's the right fit for them. But literally, Next Level's like, if you're into racing simulations they are the professional level gear. So just on the frame itself, without the wheels, pedals, and everything, it was about $850-ish for the frame and the seat. And then the pedals are another like $400 or $300 right now. Pedals, steering wheel, shifters, like another $120, which is all the kit in from Logitech, but the shifter comes separately. And then the handbrake was like another $100. Total build price is just for this without the computer, the monitor, or the monitor stand and all that. You're looking at probably $1,200-1,300 ish. I probably could have just bought a junker car and started racing that, but then you got to pay for gas, and I don't know. I like these. These are fun. So anyway, I was just coming up to a stopping point here because I've been going at this since like 2 o'clock. I'm not really stopping, but I'm probably just going to take a few minutes, 10 or 15 minute break, and come back to it. I gotta get some food in me. But really all I gotta do, all I have left to do is mount the steering wheel and then play with the adjustments and hook it up, plug it in. So that's really it. There's not a whole lot left to it. Yeah, like if you're, so I really got involved with a lot of virtual racers during the COVID pandemic, whatever you want to call it. But during that time, a lot of tracks closed. A lot of drivers wanted to keep racing or race, and tracks were closed. You couldn't really race unless you went out on the street and did it illegally, which a lot of people were doing anyway. And there weren't really a lot of tickets that I was aware of. So anyway, a lot of people went virtual and started racing virtual. NASCAR even had virtual NASCAR events, and like no-name drivers all of a sudden were competing with NASCAR drivers and stuff. It was pretty crazy. You know, where some kid was racing next to like some champion driver that's racing. But anyway, this is the gear that they used and they set up, and I ran across quite a few of them that were looking for computers to set up that would run iRacing or Project Cars, but iRacing was really like the go-to competitive game. Project Cars has a lot of competitiveness as well, or competitive games. So, I mean, you could get competitive in this and use the hardware, and the hardware just makes this gives you an edge, I think, just because you have a very stable frame when you're steering and shifting, and it's more solid than the cheap one that I was using. Just kind of wiggle around all over the place. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break here, and I'll be back on in a little bit. Okay. Just gonna get the wheel mounted, and before I do that, gotta plug everything in. Oh boy. Front row. She okay?
Woken up from a nap.
Hmm.
Fuss.
And the power. Last but not least. So we got the pedals, we got the shifter plugged in. Now we're doing the pedals, or the power. Okay. And
This is gonna be hard. This will be me. I'm like laying down and playing.
I'll seat to move, Adrian.
Okay, it's too cold. I can't be in front of here. And I'm gonna go make myself food because I have not ate anything today.
That's a good idea. Can't seem to get this thing to move. stuck. Can't get it to free up either.
thinking. I know what you're thinking, to steal it all. Yeah, no.
Oh, Chloe, what's going on in there? What's going on with that girl? There seems to be an upset girl in there. All right. Just gotta clean up one more cable here. We're good to go. still have to finish adjusting the height of the steering wheel, but I think I was liking it where it was. Yeah. Yeah, I like this a lot. It's a way better, way more stable. Beautiful. All right. And that's probably it, folks. I just got to clean up all the extra parts I have left over here. Away. I said I have to clean up. Okay. And put all the extra parts away. And then I might test it out and run a couple of Project Cars games. So we'll see. But overall, I'd say the instructions, the booklet, the pamphlet that comes with it, not so great. Haven't checked out the video yet. Would like to maybe investigate that a little more. And even so, they should put that page in the instructions in the very front. So you come across that first, instead of like midway or halfway through. I don't know. But if you are used to building things, you could probably do this very easily. It just takes a little bit of imagination and understanding to put it together. Because again, the instructions aren't very detailed, and they don't really tell you, part A goes to part B with this particular screw and use this washer with this nut. It doesn't say that. It literally just shows a diagram of the parts assembled and what screw to use. It doesn't tell you the washer, the nut. It doesn't tell you the part numbers that are you're assembling together in that step. It's not very detailed. It doesn't tell you all the steps for adjustments. Like after you assemble it, hey, this is how you can adjust it now. You can adjust the steering wheel, you can adjust the pedals, you can adjust the shifter, you can adjust the seat, you can adjust. There's no instructions on that whatsoever, though. So I would hope that the video has more information about that. So that is where we are at with this. But I mean, the build quality is absolutely amazing. It's very solid. So if you're looking for a solid racing simulator cockpit, there's no other brand to go with, honestly, in my opinion, other than Next Level. Just the assembly sucks. The assembly just sucks because their instructions are not very clear. So I mean, that's ultimately what it comes down to. So if I were to give them 5 stars, I'd be lying. 5 stars for the quality of the product, but I would give them about 4 stars just because of the fact that they did not do enough work to make the assembly easier. So, and it's not the actual work that's involved. It's just simply the instructions suck. More detail in the instructions, people. Come on. It would be easier. You'd make it 10 times easier and then have way better reviews, because I've seen these reviews all over Amazon about how crappy your instructions are. And I'm sure people are shaving off stars just for that, and I don't know. But it's good. If you didn't want to assemble it and you're local over here by us, you can definitely contact us and we'll assemble it for you. Yes? What's up? Nope, looks like she'll have to grow into it.
How do I play it?
Alright guys, I'm going to hop off this stream, and then once I get it
later?
plugged in, might be streaming